Urban Therapy with Sun 752, and this is your daily Gogetemism number 140 for February 22nd, 2015. Now listen, I know that I said that this was 140 yesterday, but I was wrong. I was wrong. I be messing up sometimes. Yesterday was 139, so naturally today is 140. Nonetheless, all that matters is that you get it together somewhere along the line. My bad, I goofed. Yo, in our daily Gogetemism Black History Spotlight today, I want to talk about black on black crime. Yeah, black on black crime. You know, when we think about black on black crime, it's almost like that's a term that you hardly ever hear anymore. It's like something that has disintegrated, or something that we used to talk about all the time back in the day. Maybe back in the 90s, maybe back in the 80s. But no, it still goes on. The only difference between black on black crime back in the day and now is that you don't hear it you don't hear it termed or described as black on black crime anymore. And you have to consider that there has to be a reason for that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I don't know, a century ago that there was no black on black crime, because there was. Was it to the extent that it is now? Probably, excuse me, probably not. Probably not, because we knew and we understood the forces that were up against us, that we were up against. We understood that we had to unite on some type of level, even if the mental slavery had us all messed up to a certain degree that we didn't love ourselves. But I think that whether we loved ourselves or not, a century ago, 50 years ago, 60 years ago, whatever, in the 1900s, in the 20th century, I think that despite whether we liked ourselves or not, we understood that we had to protect ourselves. We had to protect our loved ones, and the only way to do it was to stick together on some level. So we also didn't have the internet, and we didn't have TV in part of the 1900s. So, and the newspaper wouldn't report black on black crime. So that may explain a little bit about why we didn't know how, on what level black on black crime existed. Now we do. The thing is, now we don't understand that black on black crime is in existence, probably more prevalent now than ever. If you watch your weekend news, okay, I'm only going to say that because it's the weekend. In my city, it's every day, but definitely on the weekend, we hear a lot of incidents. We hear a lot of incident reports of crime, violent crime. You know, um, we don't hear too much about theft, but we hear about a stabbing, a shooting, a bad beating, some type of violent crime between our brothers and sisters, perpetrated by our brothers and sisters. Now, listen, I'm talking about black on black crime right now, and that's not to take away from other racists who kill us or perform acts of violence on us because of our race. I'm not taking away from that at all. But on a larger scale, we have to, come to grips with the fact that we kill ourselves a lot more. And what I want to do right now is I want to deal with family business. The black man and woman and child is my family. So we have to deal with that. So, you know, we don't hear we don't hear black on black crime being described as black on black crime anymore. You have to ask yourself, what would be the reason that they don't describe it as that anymore? Because I think that if they took you back to the black on black crime terminology, then you would have to take a harder look at the way you treat your fellow man that looks like you, that acts like you, that lives like you, that lives around you. The ones you gave birth to, the ones that gave birth to you, the ones that who share your bloodline, the ones who are your neighbors, the ones who you probably hang around the most. So you would think that those would be the ones that you treat the best. But the evidence doesn't support that. See, when they take away your ability to alert yourselves to certain things, then it can desensitize you to what's really going on. It might even get to the point where you start to blame yourself for what's going on. Now, sure, black on black crime involves a black person committing a crime upon another black person, and it is the fault of one of the black people. However, you have to think about the reasons that came behind and that influenced that crime to happen in the first place. If it's just a robbery, it probably won't end in violence. But when you think about what motivates a person to kill somebody in the commission of a robbery, you know, the circumstances of the case start to weigh a lot heavier. Listen, I'm not gonna spend all day on this, but we have to bring back that black on black crime terminology. We have to familiarize ourselves with the reasons that it persists and why it seems to be increasing, and why we are not saying anything about it. How come you don't hear black on black crime being described on the news, but you hear about black on black crime on the news? Now, you don't ever hear white on white crime. You don't hear Asian on Asian crime. You don't even hear Hispanic on Hispanic crime. You know, you have to think about that. Like, what's really good with that? What is the reason that we get singled out? And I think one of the reasons is because our struggle is different from anybody else's on this planet, anywhere in the world. Black Americans have had an experience dealing with slavery and trying to raise ourselves up out of that other nationalities, other people just don't share. It's our own. We own that. Yet, we are the same people who deny the severity of the act. So, study black on black crime, and I would say Google black on black crime. I wish I had prepared some books that you should read about that, but I don't. Nonetheless, it's very important for black people to love themselves, to love their fellow man, woman, and child, and to treat themselves like they wish that they were here to do better and thrive amongst themselves. Because that's what it's really all about. That's the thing we have to remember the most. We can eradicate black on black crime, maybe not as a whole. You know, people have anger problems. People have issues. There are people who make a living through crime. That's not the majority of people. Black on black crime, in a violent sense, means black people hurting black people. We need to move farther away from that instead of closer to that. Now, as far as our daily Gogetemism is concerned today, I wanted to talk about speaking at somebody's funeral. Do you do it? Do you speak at people's funeral when you go to the funeral? You know, years ago, I don't remember the preacher or whoever ministered a funeral back in the day. I don't remember them asking people to come up and say some kind words about the deceased. But now they do. And when they do now, a line starts to form, and whoever has something nice to say about the person who's lying in the casket, who is no longer with us, they get in line in order to speak about the person. And some of the stories are funny stories, and some of them are just little anecdotes about the deceased that many people may not have known. And it's just a way to cleanse your soul of the pain that you may be experiencing over losing a loved one. But do you do it? Are you the one that gets in the line? I know I am. I'm quick to speak at somebody's funeral. I'm quick to speak at somebody's funeral. And but some people aren't. Some people would rather look, wait a minute. I'm not saying that you're wrong for not speaking at somebody's funeral, because number one, speaking in front of people may not be something that everybody is comfortable with. I know for a fact that it's not something that everybody is comfortable with. Number two, A lot of people are stricken with grief, and sometimes words just don't come out or don't flow freely when you are really, really under a lot of stress, duress, and sadness. And some people just want to mourn and, remember a person the way that they remember them in life. So, but for the people who do get up and speak for the deceased, it's interesting because I really think that they believe that the person can hear them representing for them. Sometimes you might see them look at the sky, and it's funny if you see them look at the sky when the body is right there. So, but you know, you want to speak to a person's soul, and that's hard to do when the person's body is right there. I don't know. It's wild, man. It's weird. But speaking at a funeral, I think it's a great thing to do. And wherever it got started, or however it got started, I'm glad they did it. So if you're the type of person that wants to, clear your heart of some of the sadness, try it out. The next funeral you go to, because undoubtedly there will be one, and there will be one for all of us one day. Speak, give it a shot. If need be, have a little speech prepared. Hook it up. That's what I'm talking about. Yo, good things happen to those who wait. Great things happen to those who grind. And anything can happen to those who go for theirs. So go hard, go for yours. Let's stamp out that black on black crime. On any level, whether it's violence, whether it's theft, whether it's racketeering. Let's stop committing crimes against each other. Let's build together. Let's learn to love ourselves and love our people. And let's show the world what we can do. Because we can do this. And for the ones who didn't make it, try speaking at their funeral one day. Say some kind words about the deceased. Whether or not they hear it or not, you'll hear yourself and you'll feel better. I can guarantee that. UrbanTherapyWithSun.com. Join the movement. Also, YouTube.com/Sun752. Holla at that. Oh, our first event is coming up. You want to go? In Philadelphia, March 21st, the Franklin Institute. The adult class trip. It's going to be the first Urban Therapy with Sun event, and we're going to have a meet and greet afterwards. So it'll be the first time that we'll be able to put the faces with the names with the faces. We're going to have a great time. It's going to be great. It's a daytime event too. It's going to be hot. So check that out. I will holler at y'all tomorrow for Daily Gogetemism number 141. Y'all have a great night, man. Peace.